If you've ever felt misunderstood because you're a quiet person, or if you feel like people see your silence as something it isn't, share your thoughts in the comments. Your experience might help someone else feel understood too. Have you ever stayed quiet in a room only to realize people had already decided who you were? Maybe they assumed you were shy. Maybe they thought you lacked confidence. Or maybe they believed you had nothing interesting to say. What's surprising is that they were probably wrong. Silence is one of the most misunderstood personality traits. In a world where attention usually belongs to the loudest voice, quiet people are often judged before they ever have the chance to reveal who they really are. But silence rarely means emptiness. More often, it means something far more complex. One thing many people never notice is that quiet people usually spend more time observing than performing. While everyone else is focused on being heard, they're paying attention to facial expressions, changes in tone, and the small details others ignore. Their mind is constantly collecting information before reaching a conclusion. Because of that, they often understand situations more deeply than people expect. The irony is that this ability stays invisible because observation doesn't make much noise. But there's another reason silence is so often misunderstood. Many quiet people don't speak less because they have fewer thoughts. They speak less because they filter those thoughts first. They ask themselves, is this worth saying, before opening their mouth? To someone who talks without thinking, this can look like hesitation. In reality, it's usually intention. They're not trying to fill every silence. They'd rather say one meaningful sentence than 20 forgettable ones. What most people don't realize is that being quiet doesn't protect you from emotions. In fact, it can mean the opposite. Many silent people experience emotions intensely, but they've learned not to display every feeling they have. They may look calm while disappointment, excitement, or anxiety quietly unfolds inside them. This creates a strange contradiction. The outside appears peaceful, while the inside is full of conversations no one else can hear. Because people only judge what they can see, quiet individuals often end up feeling misunderstood without ever explaining why. Here's something even more interesting. People often confuse confidence with visibility. We assume confident people always speak first, lead every conversation, or dominate every room. But real confidence doesn't always ask for attention. Sometimes confidence is being comfortable enough to listen, comfortable enough to disagree without arguing, comfortable enough to let silence exist without feeling the need to escape it. The strongest sense of self is often the one that doesn't constantly seek approval.
But this strength comes with a hidden cost. When others mistake silence for weakness, they stop asking for your opinion. Opportunities quietly pass by. Decisions get made without your voice, not because your ideas lack value, but because people made a judgment before they knew you. Over time, this can make quiet people feel invisible, not because they are unnoticed, but because they are misunderstood. And perhaps that's the biggest misunderstanding of all. The people who spend the most time observing the world often spend just as much time understanding themselves. They question their choices. They reflect on their mistakes. They notice patterns in their own emotions that others rarely stop to examine. That quiet self-awareness becomes a strength that isn't obvious at first, but it shapes how they think, how they grow, and how they connect with others. So if you've ever been underestimated because you're quiet, remember this.
Your silence is not a measure of your intelligence. It is not proof that you lack confidence. And it certainly doesn't decide your worth. Some people reveal themselves through endless words. Others reveal themselves through awareness, patience, and the way they understand the people around them. Human nature is quick to judge what it can immediately see. But the deepest parts of a person are almost always hidden beneath the surface. And sometimes, the quietest person in the room has been paying attention all along. If any part of this felt uncomfortably familiar, perhaps it wasn't simply describing silent people. Perhaps, without realizing it, it was describing you.